Welcome back, everyone. This is Mondo All Day, back with another video. And in this video, I'll be doing an overview of Jim Gordon as Batman from the Batman Endgame figure and Batman from the Dark Knight Steel storyline. As always, I'll be talking about the figures itself in terms of the articulation, sculpture, and paint, and if it's worth your purchase or not. Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button, tune out to support the channel, but to keep up to date and watch videos like this. So let's take a look at front of the box for Jim Gordon. This side, the back, the other side, top, and bottom. All right, front of the front of the figure of the box for Batman. This side, the back, which I really like this art. The other side, top, and bottom. Now let's take a look at each figure outside the box. As always, we do come with a card. This is the front of the card looks like for Jim Gordon as Batman. The back of the card. Front of the card for Batman from the Dark Knights of Steel storyline. The back of the card. And I'll actually put him in the back right there. You guys can see him. If I can get the other card. There you go. And so for Batman from the Dark Knights of Steel, it does come with an accessory. A nice looking sword on there. I do like the paint on the gold on there. It looks nice. And then you get that detail on there. It looks nice. And the sword itself is just plain looking, just silver. A little bit of sculpture design there in the center. There is a downside to this actual sword, is that it's going to be, well, you can see very, very flimsy, which is fine for the price you're paying for this figure. So there's that. Jim Gordon does come with a grappling gun, which looks pretty cool. Very detailed, actually. I like the paint on it. It has like this kind of like bronze / silverish kind of gray paint on it, which looks nice. And a little bit of those sculpture design there. And of course, you got that Batman logo right there. Pretty cool. And then he does come with several accessories. Here is his left open hand. Not much to it, just plain black. His left pointy finger. Let me see, this is going to be his right fist. Again, not much to it. His left fist. His right open hand. And last but not least is his right thumbs up. There you go. And they both come with a puck stand. So let's take a look at each figure. We'll start off with Jim Gordon with the articulation. Head, left, right, up, down, shoulder. So, okay, it's fine. Just be careful. It might pop out here on the actual bicep. Be careful, but it does articulate. Bicep articulation. Elbows, wrist, torso, swivel, and then the leg articulation, knees, ankles, and of course, toes as well. So overall, the articulation of this figure is actually pretty darn good overall for this particular figure. Now let's talk about the actual figure itself. The head sculpture on this figure, it is... Well, I'll say this right now. The sculpture design is fine. It's a nice painted face on there. The sculpture on the cow is clean, plain looking. Got that grin on his face. You got the painted, they're not really white eyes, almost like a light gray type of eyes. You got the painted lips on there. So it's a good head sculpture design. The problem, though, is that it looks really weird because it just looks like a bobblehead. See that? The proportion isn't right. It just looks off. Again, it's not bad. I want to clarify, it's not bad. It's just proportion, it's off. It looks like he has like a big, huge head and then like a tiny body. But then again, this is Jim Gordon. He's not really buffed out, so I'll give it that. In terms of the arm sculpture design, just muscle toned. Not so much huge muscle, just very like muscle tone. You can see the definition of the shoulder, a little bit of the bicep, tricep. Then you got the forearm, the hand. And then the upper body, you can see the Batman logo that it is painted. It's not actually sculpted. You got more of the black paint. Again, just very, very muscle tone, but not huge muscle, just muscle tone figure. And the other side, you got this paint on there that's yellow. The back, there's nothing, just plain black. But again, very muscle tone. And that's that. So this figure itself, I mean, it's a very plain looking figure. And again, for the price what you're paying, it's not that great of a deal. But, well, I'll talk about that in a bit regarding the pricing and what you're getting. But anyway, so in terms of sculpture design, it is just a plain looking Batman. Jim Gordon as Batman. Again, just black base paint, muscle tone, and of course the yellow accent. And it looks fine. It looks fine. The great thing about this figure, it does come with an additional head sculpture, which is going to be, of course, Jim Gordon. And if my camera can pick it up. Here's the additional head sculpture that it comes with. And this head sculpture, it looks nice. A very nice looking head sculpture for Jim Gordon. You got the painted lips on it, the eyebrows, the eyes. The hairstyle is very, almost like a mohawk per se. A little bit of sculpture on the hair. Right, you got that nice brown on there. And then just the painted eyes, like I said, the eyebrows, the nose, the mouth. So it's a very clean looking head sculpture. And so I'm bringing this up is because the figure itself, in terms of the upper body, let's be honest, it's a very, very plain Batman. I mean, just look at it. It's just plain Batman. It's not bad. Don't get me wrong. Again, it's not bad. It's just kind of like plain. So, and also to the head proportion, it's a little off. So overall, the upper body, I gotta say, it's fine. For what you're paying for this figure, it's fine. This figure does not come with a utility belt, but it does come with this kind of belt on there, which is nicely sculpted design. Very simple belt. There's yellow, a little bit of the buckles on there. The buckles are painted similar to the actual grappling gun. There's the back of it. And I believe you can remove it. It's just glued in here to the side. And there's the pocket on here, which I thought was going to be the gun holster, but it's not. And in terms of the legs, it's just similar to the upper body. Very spandex, muscle tone. Not a huge lot of muscles. I mean, yeah, he does some squats there, Jim Gordon. But in terms of the leg itself, there really isn't that much. I mean, just look at it. It's very plain looking lower body. And it's not bad, but again, this is Jim Gordon, so it is what it is, though. So overall, though, what I think about the figure, it's a cool looking figure. In terms of the pricing, which I'll talk about in a bit, I want to talk about the pricing for this particular figure because for what you're getting, for what you're paying for, it's not the best deal because again, it's very, very, very plain figure. But McFarlane does make it up for it. And again, I'll talk about it in a bit. But overall, this figure, I got to say, for me, it's cool to have. It's not one of those must-have. For me, I like it because I read the actual story, so I have a connection to it. But again, it's one of those figures that if you like the character, if you like the story, then get it. If not, well, you may skip it. Now let's take a look at the Dark Knights of Steel. We'll start off with the articulation. All right, left, right, up, down. Not a whole lot up, down, but left to right is actually okay. Shoulder articulation, it's there. It just hits right here. So just remember that. See that? It hits right there when you try to articulate it. Bicep. Elbows. Wrist. Torso. Right? Not a whole lot, but it's fine. Swivel. Not the greatest, but it's fine. Leg articulation. It's fine. Knees. Ooh, it's a little stiff right now. Ankles. And of course, toes as well. So the articulation on this figure, it's good overall. It's just the head is a bit limited because of this actual part right here where you can't do up and down. Now let's talk about this figure. And this figure is like the opposite of this one, where the articulation of this one is top notch. This one is kind of finicky, where this one doesn't have a lot of detail and sculpture design. This one, on the other hand, well, as you can see, so much going on. First off, we'll start off with the head sculpture design. Just look at that head sculpture. It looks great. The cow just looks incredible. It has regular eyes. It doesn't have the white eyes that I like, which is fine. But you get the sculpture design there. It looks like it's going to be like a battle damage right here on top of the actual cow itself. And it's actually not black. I want to clarify that. And my camera might look this black. It's actually not black. It's like a dark, dark, dark brown. Again, some people can see it like it's black, but it's actually dark, dark brown. But in terms of the paint, it's just dark brown. Then you got the painted lips on there. Again, the eyes. And then more sculpture design there on the nose. And so the head sculpture on this one, it's nice. Unique and different, yes, but it looks really nice. Then you got this huge, huge shoulder piece on there. You can see all that sculpture design there, that damage. It looks really nice. It gives you the extra look and feel to it. Again, very, very thick shoulder piece. Underneath it, he has a really thick shirt. You can really feel the texture on there. You can see that and feel it. Look at that. And it also has another sculpture design right there. See that as well too. Then the gauntlets as well too. More battle damage, more sculpture design. Then you got the actual hands on there. Very sculpture design as well too. And again, really good looking sculpture design on the arm. Then you got the torso on there. Again, that whole armor, just very thick, nicely colored. It has this kind of cream silver color look to it, to where in certain angles you can see this kind of like brush look. I don't know what you call it. I call it the cream. I don't know the terminology, so bear with me. But it has that paint of it, and it looks nice. A very thick sculpture design, and of course that battle damage you can see all around right there. And the other arm, similar to this arm, that big huge piece, but I will say though, it's a different sculpture design. So here we have more damage right there. Over here, not so much damage, battle damage. Then you got the gauntlets as well too. Then you got the hands on there, again similar to the other side. More sculpture design there on the shirt. Then on the back, you got the cape on there. Very stylized cape, right? Kind of swish to the left or to the right, depending if you're looking in the front. You got here the actual sword holder. And I actually like about this whole cape being ripped. Again, it looks like this Batman was in the field and war, and he got it all scratched and beat up. And so it looks really nice, very stylized cape. And it has this kind of like a bluish, greenish, dark color. And it looks nice though. Same thing with the underbody. It has like a bluish, greenish kind of color, and it looks really, really nice though. More sculpture design there too as well on the shoulders right there. Looks like he has like a kind of hoodie on here. Let's see, I can show you right there. Almost like a hoodie type of thing. And so overall, the upper body, I gotta say on this figure, just looks incredible. So much sculpture design. The paint is not as bright, but there's a lot of color palettes on it. There's a lot of colors on here. Again, dark brown, that silverish creamy color. They got the blue-green base. Then you got more brown here in the belt, which I'll talk about in a bit. And again, it looks really, really nice. Man, this one looks really, really good. And I really dig the figure so far. And the story itself is good too. Then you got the belt on there. Got that dark brown belt. Little pockets on there on the side. More in there in the back. And we'll see if I can do the back. There you go. You can see more of the belt design there on the back. There's the other side. Then you have here, I don't know what this is called. Maybe it's like the undershirt, whatever this is called. I call it the skirt. Correct me what this is called. But it has more of that ripped battle damage I like. And then underneath it, actually, what I like about this is actually kind of loose. It's not going to be like very stiff. It is not. It's very loose. You can see more of that textured that's on here, present here on the thigh. More of the huge armor on this knee pads. Look at that. Look at that. That sculpture design, the paint as well too, similar to the upper body. And then you got the shin guards as well too, that shin armor. Look at that. This one is like a hole in it, battle damage, and again here you can see like the crack on there. The feet are just plain feet. And the back, just I'll hold this up again. You can see the back of it as well too. More of that battle damage on there for this particular armor, for the legs and the calf muscles. And I gotta say, overall, the figure looks very, very nice. Very detailed, very sculpted design. Again, the paint is not very bright compared to the previous one. This one, not previous, but this one. But man, the sculpture and detail, it is just top notch, man. This is a good looking Batman. And of course, I had to get it because I read the story. Great, great story. I'm looking forward to Volume 2. Finishing up the story. If you've not read this particular story, definitely read it. It's really good. It's really fun. It is an Elseworlds story, so keep that in mind. But it's a fun story. But for this particular figure, though, I love it. And I'm so glad I got one of these. And so, Heck yeah, this is a good looking figure. Just looks incredible, man. The detail and sculpture, just top notch, man. Just top notch. And again, for the price of $20, oof. Oh man, nothing else to say, man. Just top notch. But of course, the main question, is it really worth it? Should you go out and get these figures? I'll break it down like this. For the price of $20 for Jim Gordon, I would say that one, it is worth it because, yes, the figure is plain. As I mentioned, the figure is plain, not much to it. Same sculpture design, not much to it. But you do get a lot of accessories. You get multiple hand accessories. You can actually play around with it and kind of customize it a little bit. On top of that, you get a grappling gun and an additional head sculpture for $20. I think it's actually a good deal. Batman, on the other hand, yes, you're paying for the same amount, $20. You get less accessories, but you do get a really defined, sculpted figure, and it just looks magnificent. And so for $20 for that figure as well too, I think it's a good deal. And so for both of them, I think $20 each are a really good deal for each one. But this is a perfect example of why McFarlane is really appreciated and loved by the fans, because other companies like Hasbro, for the Jim Gordon, they would have charged the same price, give you one accessory. McFarlane knew that it was going to be a plain figure. He gave us way more accessories for our money. So thank you, McFarlane, for that. Then you got Dark Knights of Steel. Of course, very sculpted design figure. And again, for $20 for what you're getting, top notch. Apart from the price, though, what I think about these figures? Oh, come on. Easily a thumbs up for me for both of them. They look great. Yes, Jim Gordon's plain, but for what you're getting for your money, come on. You gotta admit, that's a good deal. Of course, the Steel Batman, incredible. Incredible. So once again, what do I give Jim Gordon as Batman and Batman from the Dark Knights of Steel storyline? They both get an easily thumbs up for me. Definitely recommend getting them. If you want a figure that's plain looking, but a bunch of accessories for $20, boom. Or if you want less accessories, but really good sculpted design figure, boom, right there. Here we have two comic accurate figures where we have Jim Gordon next to Batgirl or Barbara Gordon. This is Barbara Gordon from the Amazon exclusive figure, the 5-pack one, the Bat Family one. Great addition to the DC Multiverse, Jim Gordon. But let's be real, we want the traditional GCPD Jim Gordon. Don't get me wrong, I like this figure, but if I had the option to choose, I would rather get a Jim Gordon that's more like GCPD, maybe like a SWAT type of armor body compared to this. But they both look good though. Here we have another Batgirl next to Jim Gordon. As you can see, one's more comic accurate, futuristic. Then we have the Ice Age era per se Batgirl. Good looking Batgirl figure. Just sculpture design's incredible. The detail, the paint, the color palette. Again, for the price for you're paying for this figure, oof, $25, incredible. And then here we have a figure that's $20. Well, as you can see, less sculpted design on this Jim Gordon figure. But nonetheless, we have Batgirl next to Jim Gordon. Here we have two different types of like medieval per se Batman figures. We have Batman from the Dark Knights of Steel storyline, and I believe this is from the, oh man, what is it from? Is it from the Dark Knights of Metal storyline? Correct me if I'm wrong for this one. Both good looking figures. Obviously two different storylines, but man, look at the detail of these figures. They look incredible. And so of course the question that you may be wondering, which one do I prefer? Personally, I'm gonna go for this one just because of the color palette. I like the color palette on this one. I like that purple cape and I like the stylized and the texture to it. This is good, don't get me wrong. I like this one. I like this one a lot. Don't get me wrong. But something about the cape and the color palette just all put together into one, it just grabs my attention more. Since we have a Batman that's kind of like medieval per se, here we have Wonder Woman that's somewhat medieval per se armor, kind of has this kind of look to it. And this is going to be the Walmart exclusive, a gold label Walmart figure, Wonder Woman. Very, very defined, very sculpted figure. Just looks incredible. I'm telling you, when you see this in person, the texture and sculpture and the color palette just pops and it looks amazing. And then we have here Batman, which again looks good, but you can tell, look at this, it's so bright and the colors are just very, very shiny. again, another medieval figure next to, well, another medieval figure. Since we're talking about Batman figures, you got to talk about the main one so far. The best Batman figure McFarlane has made so far. None other than Batman Santa, or Bad Santa, or you want to call him. Weird figure, yes, because like I said in the video for this one, I have a link to it. When I think of Batman, I'm thinking of being serious. But then you have him as Santa. It's weird, but it's fun though. And so here we have Batman Santa next to medieval Batman and Jim Gordon as Batman. And here we have both these figures next to each other. I mean, just look at this sculpture design. Again, $20 gets you more sculpture design, more detail on the figure. $20 here gets you plain figure, but you get way more accessories on this one. And additional head sculptures. So, I mean, if you were to ask me which one I prefer out of these two, I'm going to go for the Dark Knights because of I read the story. This is cool, don't get me wrong. But again, I want more a traditional Commissioner Gordon. Or Jim Gordon, I should say. I like it, but I just want more Jim Gordon with the GCPD armor type thing. But here we have Jim Gordon as Batman next to Batman Dark Knights of Steel. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with me in these figures? Do you plan to purchase these figures? Leave it in the comment section below. As always, make sure you hit the subscribe button to not support channel, but to keep up to date and watch videos like this. This includes an overview of Batman from the Dark Knights of Steel storyline and Batman, or Jim Gordon as Batman, and on to the next one.